The Minnesota Department of Human Services announced last month that more than 3,400 Medicaid providers will be disenrolled. That decision followed a 5-month review process. Now, some disability service providers in south central Minnesota are taking action in response. Evan Berg reports.
Many disability service providers across the state of Minnesota are currently working to appeal what they say has been a mistaken disenrollment from Minnesota's Medicaid program.
It was at first very alarming and unnerving and trying to figure out what to do.
Received that at 3:30 a.m. on the 28th of May, stating that we're going to be disenrolled through services, which was very confusing for us.
The review aimed to look at over 5,000 high-risk Medicaid providers, going over ownership disclosures, licenses, and employee details as part of a request from federal Medicaid and Medicare services to audit the system or lose $2 billion in funding.
The state tried to revalidate 5,000 providers in 5 months, and normally that process can take up to 2 years.
Eon Inc. was disenrolled due to paperwork issues, but the company claims all of its requested documents were complete and on time. The Harry Meyering Center claims it is not sure why it failed, but nobody from the state performed a mandatory visit during the review.
We had found as there was multiple workers working on each different caseload, so consistencies weren't exactly in place on who was looking at what.
So HMC is doing fine. We haven't had no interruption in service, but it's very worrisome to the people that have disabilities that may lose their services because of this.
Since beginning the revalidation process earlier this month, both say they've regained the ability to get reimbursed for services provided, but they won't be able to renew or start new contracts for those home services. A restriction they say could hurt smaller providers.
So ultimately too long if you're not able to reimburse your employees, you're not able to provide the services.
The Association of Residential Resources in Minnesota says over 2,000 of its members specializing in home care for people with disabilities are in the state's revalidation process. While those we talked to have passed a final site check, there has been no established timeline for when they might be reinstated.
We're still waiting.
Evan Berg, KUIC News Now.
The Minnesota Department of Human Services says disenrolled providers have 60 days from their initial notice to file an appeal. The department claims only significant evidence was used in its review and that all disenrollments were because providers were either not available or not able to pass an unannounced site visit or submit required paperwork.